You must be out of your goddamn mind. Joe Louis, the greatest boxer ever lived. I'll be with you boys in a minute. He was bad in Cassius Clay. He bad in Sugar Ray. He bad in that. Who that? The new boy got Mike Tyson. Look like a bulldog. He bad at him too. He done whipped Mike Tyson there. He whipped all their asses.
You too. Crazy word. Yes, sir.
Who this nigga on that name?
Ain't nobody but me, boss. What up, YouTube? Big TL Heavy Bag TV. Man, if you don't get your goof ass in here and hit the bag. All right, it went down last night. Of course, Jaron Bruce Ennis and Amanda Stanionis unification. Number 1 versus number 2 for the lineal, the man at 147 pounds, the Ring Magazine belt, and all that comes along with that with Riyadh season, and the Turk, who holds that Ring Magazine belt nice and near and dear to his heart. Your boy showed out, man. Jaron Bruce Ennis came ready, prepared, and as he calls it, in his happy place inside that ring, as in my opinion, he completely dominated the likes of Amanda Stanionis, who only had somewhat of a puncher's chance when he did decide to let his hands go. He was able to touch Boots here and there. A lot of those power punches, Boots rolled with it, and it was just a pure dominant performance for the most part. Now, I don't know if you guys can remember this, and y'all know I got a wife, right? But this guy is extremely handsome. I don't know what it is about. He's extremely handsome, and he had a hell of a take on this fight, and I wanted to play that so I could remind you guys of the take that he had on this fight, and it pretty much played out in this fashion. Check it out. And damn, see this fight. It's a lot of people that don't believe Bruce Ennis can beat Amanda Stanionis, especially given his particular style, which is a style that I believe is tailor-made for Bruce Ennis.
Stop the cap.
Not a ton of footwork that you're going to get out of Amanda Stanionis. I think he truly likes to fight in the pocket, as he was asked a question. And this is what Amanda Stanionis had to say. But I prefer to bang because the fans, to see that, I like to give excitement to the fans, right? So shit, that's what he does. And if he chooses to do, to kind of get in the inside with Boots and bang, I think it'll be to his detriment. I can see Boots getting the stoppage somewhere late if he doesn't win by unanimous decision, in my opinion. All right. I'm more looking pat, and I hate to say that, but I'm not the fighter in this situation. Of course, for Bruce Ennis, his focus needs to be completely on Stanionis, but I'm looking past Stanionis, and I know y'all saying, damn, Seal, that's crazy to be looking past Stanionis, but I am. What is, to me, is the biggest threat in the division is a young fellow, the youngest champion in the game right now by the name of Brian Norman Jr. Hell of a take from that handsome fella. Hell of a take. And he was absolutely right. I didn't quite call it right on the stoppage situation where I think it just went 6 rounds and standing on his corner pretty much calls a halt to the fight. But nonetheless, dominant performance. And listen, I thought, again, Stanionis was tailor-made for somebody like Boots. You got to understand the kid is extremely athletic. He had those issues with a Shaka Khan, which is the way I pronounce it, his last fight, because Shaka Khan shows a lot of spurts of athleticism, a lot of great footwork. It's going to take somebody who has some footwork, some athleticism, and some power to give Boots real fights. And I just believe that could potentially be Brian Norman Jr. Now, I know you say, damn, Brian Norman Sr. comes on the show, might be some bias there. Yeah, listen, I like those bottom line, but I'm always call it down the middle. And I gotta admit, I believe in that kid, especially given the performance he had against Derek Cuevas, coming off the hand injury. And listen, I don't care what anybody says, and maybe Senior didn't want to admit it, but I do believe that hand injury may have played some part of those negotiations with Boots Ennis, right? When it was reported that they turned down 1.6 or 1.7 million for that fight. I think they're in a much better place now. They had to do what they had to do to make sure they're in the best space to give the best performance. And for us as fight fans, we want both guys to be at their optimal And I think if they decide to go in negotiations again, because listen, make no mistake about it, the only fight that matters at 147 pounds is Jerron Boots Ennis and Brian the Assassin Norman Jr. Bottom line, Mario Barrios don't want no smoke with neither one of them. Last we heard, I think he's trying to make a fight with 46-year-old Pac-Man. So cancel Christmas on that one. Who else at 147 pounds you want to see besides Brian Norman coming off a huge Cuevas win and now Boots unifying the division with the WBA and the IBF? It's got to be Norman next. And trust me when I tell you, they're 100% prepared. And I think whatever offer, even if it's the same exact offer, especially him coming off fighting on the undercard versus Cuevas on the, I believe, the mayor card. I didn't even stick around to see the main event in that card. Oh man, I'm going to admit that out loud, but it is what it is. That's what we want to see, bro. I think that's it. That's it at 47. And then once we can truly establish a number one, those guys can decide to move on, whether Boots will move up or Brian. I think Brian Norman Jr. is extremely comfortable at 47, maybe even 40, as he mentioned. That's something that he may think about doing if it's enough smoke and enough bread there at 40. Plus, you got those 40 guys that's eventually going to be coming up. But yeah, man, definitely want to know y'all's thoughts. Hell of a performance from Boots, but now it's all about, can you do the same thing with Brian Norman Jr.? I think he's for real, and I think if anybody can give Boots that career-defining fight where you can say, hey, we seen Boots bite down, we seen Boots face some sort of adversity, I think Brian Norman Jr. can provide that and maybe even prevail. Oh, I know y'all think that's a walk in the park for Boots, but I beg to differ. And I think my 95 to 97% accuracy in picking these fights might beg to differ as well. That's all I got for y'all on this one, man. Big T.O. Heavy Bag. I am out of here. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.